Hey traders, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are looking at the Harami cross pattern. So you've probably seen that by the title. Should be a pretty short and to the point video today. I'm just going to go through a few examples, how I use it, and stuff like that. So we're looking at US 30 on the 4-hour chart. Very common to see this pattern on US 30 or very volatile pairs, but in general, it's not a very uncommon pattern, which makes for a weaker signal. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind too, guys, like when you're trading candlestick patterns, which you only ever should be using as confluence, right? Don't ever use them alone. For entry. Okay. We want to pay attention to a multitude of other things before taking a trade. However, it can mean like this is a reversal pattern, right? Our Harami. And this is one here. Let me just delete this yellow thing. I just had it there so I could figure out where it was on the chart. It does indicate a reversal, but what it doesn't indicate is it a trend reversal or are we just getting a pullback? So are we getting a reversal from just this area of resistance and then we're going to continue on past it? Or are we getting a complete trend reversal, which is essentially what happened here? Another thing to keep in mind before we get into anything else is that the higher the time frame, the more accurate this candlestick pattern is going to be. So just keep that in mind. I do like to use the 4-hour time frame when looking at most candlestick patterns, including this one. But generally speaking, yeah, the higher the time frame, the more accurate that candle's going to be in terms of an entry signal. So we're looking here at a bearish Harami, okay? And it can get kind of confusing because your first candle is bullish, but essentially it's indicating a bearish move, which is why it's a bearish Harami, okay? And it's indicating that we're rejecting a level. So the first thing you're going to want to do is look at what structure it's forming at. Is it forming at a zone? Obviously, you guys know that's what I'm looking for. Is it forming at, a trend line? Is it forming at an EMA? Where is it forming on your chart? So that's the first thing you're going to want to look at. Obviously, getting into what it looks like, and I probably should have started there, but we can see here. So it's basically like a backwards engulfing candle, right? But one thing that I do that might be a little bit differently than what you've seen or studied. And it just depends on who you talk to, like most things in this industry. But for me personally, like I don't need the wick. So here's our first candle, right? In this case, it's bullish. And it's going to swallow your second candle, meaning that the second candle is going to close within the low and high, right? Or within, the low and high. So there are 2 wicks here. I don't care too much about my wicks. So some people want the high and the low, meaning the wicks of the second candle to stay within the first, all right? Me personally, I don't care about that. I just need the body to be within it. So I don't care if my wick ends up coming up all the way. It does not matter to me because what this is telling me is that we have strong momentum here, right? On this candle, we have nice, strong momentum. And then this second candle is indicating some form of indecision, right? We got a loss of momentum. Sometimes you'll see, in a Harami cross, we'll see like a doji there. That's even better. That's an even stronger signal. But for me personally, I don't care about the wick. So to each their own, you can do whatever you want to do. If you like, only using wicks that are inside, you can do that. But I'm just going to show you how I use it. So again, once we have our structure, right? We look at our overall trend, we look for confirmation, and essentially it's just a signal for a reversal. So that's pretty straightforward, right? Keep in mind too that reversals do tend to be less accurate than, say, trend following or breakout trading. Now, I did have an example of a bullish Harami as well that we'll get into. If I can quickly find it here. We can find a lot on this chart, but I'm trying to look for the more kind of textbook ones. So here it is here where the yellow was. I'm going to try to zoom in because I know last time some of y'all couldn't see. You should be able to see really good here. So I'm looking at this area here, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is, okay, am I at an area of structure? Is there a zone here? So we're going to need to zoom out. We're going to need to look and make sure price has respected this area in the past. That's very, very important. And again, just to reiterate, because I know sometimes I get beginners here, respecting a level simply means it tested it, couldn't break above, and rejected, right? That's what we mean by testing a level. So if this has happened in the past and we know we have a significant level of structure like we do here, okay, we have a zone here, that's a good indication that we can now use this as an entry signal and wait for our confirmation. Our confirmation, and this is just, kind of a refresher because we talk about this in every video, but our confirmation is going to be either a 15-minute candle or a 4-minute candle that's really strong bodied and forming with a lot of momentum. Okay. Something like even this one here that we had. So that's really what we're looking for. Now, this bullish Harami cross, which is what we have here, let me just clear everything. So our bullish Harami cross is, or Harami pattern, sorry, not Harami cross, is essentially the same thing. It's just that our first candle is obviously bearish, right? This is a really good example because we had so much momentum on candle 1. And candle 2, we just completely lost it, right? We have very little momentum. We have virtually no wick on the bottom, which means we closed at our low period. And that's telling us that the bears are really losing control and that we're going to likely see a reversal. So this would actually be a really, really good entry signal as long as you're using confirmation with it. I am going to really quickly zoom out and just take you through kind of using this level as structure. So if we see a Harami form on the 4-hour chart, let me get my mouse. Okay. We're going to kind of box in this area. Now I'm roughly doing this because I don't know exactly where we're going to end up with our zone. We're going to move it around, right? So I'm just going to add a couple zeros here and extend our rectangle. Now what we can do is zoom out, and this is what I mean by making sure we have good structure. And this is obviously a well-respected zone. I can tell you that right off the bat because look back and I'm hovering over March here. March 2017, it looks like. Yep. We had a really strong rejection off this level. That's telling me right away that there's some level of significance here. If we go back, we can see right here, it was respected as a support. Okay. And then obviously we broke above. And let's go back and see if we can find any more retesting of this period. We probably won't. Yeah, no, we're not going to. Sorry. And I can tell you right off the bat, we're not going to because this is US 30 and that's probably a new high for that period in 2017. Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to find it, but on pairs like US 30 and gold, you do have to consider that if we're forming new highs like we are currently, right? Because US 30 is so bullish overall because it's an index. Where we're forming new highs, it's a little bit more difficult to get multiple retests of structure. So we did have 2 there and 3, including the most recent one. So that's fine. I'll see if I can find one more example with you guys. Let's look for, I would love to find a cross, but I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so here's a good example. And the reason I'm going to point this out is this is what I mean by it's not always indicating a full-on reversal, right? What this here is indicating is that we're at a pullback. Now, you can use that to your advantage because we could say, okay, on the 4-hour chart, we have a Harami forming, and we know that this is a level of structure. We know that because if we really quickly draw this in and extend this back, we know it's been retested. We can check that really quick. And then we'll continue on. And what I mean by that, though, is if we know it's retesting structure that's been respected before and we have a reversal pattern forming, well, then it's not a very good time to buy into that trend, right? So we could use it that way. So right off the bat, we know that it's been tested before because it's been tested right here. Now this is, okay, we're not going to see a previous retest actually, so I didn't need to extend that out because we're in it. This is an all-time high, right? But still, we had tested it right here before, so that's fine. We can now use this as structure, and actually twice before, because this candle here, it's a 4-hour candle, but it still did show us some rejection. And we know we're at this significant level. We see the Harami form. I wouldn't be buying here. We probably wouldn't be buying here anyway, just due to, we can see that there's some exhaustion. We can see with these dojis here. But just keep that in mind. Like that might be what it's telling you. It doesn't always indicate we have a huge reversal coming, right? It just might be an indication that you need to stay out of the market right now. So I'm going to leave you there. I think that's a very simple pattern, to be honest. There's not too much more I can say because it's pretty straightforward. But hopefully you guys got something from this video. Let me know if you have any questions below. I do read all of the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.